Metal Monthly. No new metal. Howdy, banger pals. Rested and relaxed Blayne Smith welcoming you to another Metal Monthly. This one, January 2023. Yes, Metal Monthly. Banger's monthly look at what's coming out in metal releases has made it to another year. We did it.
Happy New Year, Gump.
Congratulations, we all survived. And now it's 2023. It's the future. It's sci-fi time, baby. And look, I know everyone's still puzzling over end of the year lists with some very strange number ones, but that's not what we're about on this show. We're about looking forward towards the future. I never stop looking forward, and so let's look forward to what's coming out January 2023 in metal releases, because December is a silly month to release a record. Nobody cares and nobody does it. But once January hits, everybody's stepping on the gas. There was a ton of releases this month, so let's get to them. Without further ado, off the top, if you haven't seen the show before, I list some of the bigger and noteworthy releases coming out. Maybe these are bands you heard of. Maybe these are, some bigger bands or some new bands on the come up. These are just a quick shout out so you can fill out your release calendar before we get to my 5 best underground metal picks. And look, no one released an album just off the start of the year, so we're just gonna start January 13th when real releases start coming out, because January 6th, who's doing that? You're still sleeping off a hangover. Anyways, so January 13th, we have Ahab releasing The Coral Tombs on Napalm. We've got Beyond the Black releasing Beyond the Black on Nuclear Blast. We've got Obituary releasing Dying of Everything on Relapse Records. And we've got Screamer banger pals you might have caught DK with the boys on their last tour, releasing Kingmaker on Steamhammer/SPV. January 20th, we've got Dryad releasing The Abyssal Plane on Prosthetic, and Catatonia releasing Sky Void of Stars on Napalm. January 27th, we've got Ominous Scripture releasing Rituals of Mass Self-Ignition on Willowtip. We've got Malice Divine releasing Everlasting Ascendancy. If you don't know Malice Divine, it's Rick Galvez from Shredder's alumni Rick releasing a great album January 27th. We've also got Steve Vai releasing Vi/Gas on Mascot. And hey, let Sarah know, Uriah Heep's releasing Chaos and Color on Silver Lining. So those are some of the big and noteworthy releases coming out in January. But without further ado, I have absolutely combed the underground and absolutely found 5 fantastic albums for you. And let's just get into those. So how are we opening up 2023? It's with a Dying Victims record, because of course it is, because they're just, this list is just Dying Victims releases now. Anyways, it's Trastorned Into the Void coming out January 27th. Our first stop this year takes us down to Chile, where we're checking out some black and speedy thrash. And hey, Dying Victims, you noted the cover artist in the bio of this one. Is this because of what I said last month? Is this going to be a regular thing? I sure hope so that I can do stuff like say, hey, wow, what a great cover. I like the color contrast, like the spooky vibe. Great job, Marcelo Miranda, a.k.a. Made in Darkness. And I mean, yeah, pull out the Dying Victims checklist for the record, because we got them all, baby. Wild guitar solos, check. Dive bomb into a check, and a growing pattern of absolutely wild bass. Yes, let's go. Last month they gave me Hellish to close out the year, and now we're opening up the record with this, and man, there's just I love a little bit of thrash with a little bit of crazy bass going on. I'm gonna say it, I think Dying Victims is the label to beat in 2023. The quality, the standard, and just the vibe of the record label is killing it every single month. And this record just has a really great punk energy to it. Last year, if you were lucky enough to catch any of the dates on the metal tour of the year, the actual metal tour of the year being 200 Stab Wounds on Death, Enforced, and Phobophilic, it's getting pretty clear that punk and metal are once again one genre, one scene.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Everything's merging together, and this is another great record where you just feel kind of that punk energy coming in. You're picturing the band playing live, everybody stage diving, going crazy, and yeah, just that's the vibe I'm looking for. Let's get more metal punk. Let's go. But it doesn't matter what month it is. You know, there's never going to be any shortage of black metal. So we got Letha's Reue on Noisebringer Records coming out January 13th. Have you had enough black metal in your life yet?
No!
Here's more. We're stopping in Germany for this black metal, and we've got a depressing ass record with a depressing ass cover by Daniel Beschold kicking things off good. And yeah, so this is another project of Noise behind Cannon Fiber, and shocker, Noise still makes amazing records. The intro to the record, the way things start is with a kind of disconcerting rant leading into black metal, which set me up great because it immediately reminded me of one of my favorite black metal records of all time, the Nun record that was my album of the year a few years back. And the actual black metal on here is a lot more full. There's a lot more going on than the Nut record. It's not that kind of cold spare vibe. There is some action here, but the main thing is just it's got that perfect guitar tone, which again is no surprise because Noise just does everything: recording, producing, mixing, all that, and he's amazing. But yeah, just the tone, when you nail that perfect depressive black metal guitar tone, really it can fill out a whole record on its own, and it makes the record feel so familiar and comfortable. But there's a little something that's weird in the sound. There's something a little off, and I mean that in a good way. It's really easy to hear. It's not quite easy to describe. So if you're a black metal fan, definitely check out this record. And I think this might be like my favorite black metal record in over a year. This is exactly the sound I like. So if my black metal tastes have rubbed off on you over the years, then I think this is the best black metal record I've heard. Can't even remember how long. So that's pretty good because all I do is listen to goddamn black metal records every month. 30 black metal. They all suck. Regular viewers of the show will know that I do my best to make sure every single genre of metal is represented every single month in here, except, of course, the genres that I think are dumb and bad. So, of course, we've had thrash, we've had black, the third metal genre, death metal, Nothingness, Supraliminal on Everlasting Spew Records, coming out January 20th. Our death metal this time comes from Minneapolis, and continuing in the growing trend of album covers that are gross and upsetting without technically being gross or upsetting. They're just giving a vibe. This one's done by Mark Vortalen/Vulture, and yeah, I actually had a hard time with what to put in here. Not because there wasn't enough records, but because January already kicked things off with a crazy amount of records. So I put this one in here because I just went with gross when I can't decide. But there's a bunch of other amazing records that came out this month that you can find out by heading on over to our Patreon. If you sign up for our Patreon, you help support the channel, you help keep the lights on, you help keep videos going, and we give you a bunch of stuff. One of the things is a monthly tip sheet where the Banger crew lists albums that we love that are coming out this month that might not quite have gotten the shine anywhere else. else. So good way to find some cool underground records. And of course, Sam Dunn's new podcast is over there. So we all love hearing Sam Dunn talk forever. So we can now do that. We have a podcast to help with that. And getting back to Nothingness, this is a heavy record. The sound is a lot more blunt than I normally go with. You know, I've always expressed my love of sharps and not as much my love of blunts. But something about the bluntness here. There is an occasional sharpness, a squeal, a zaniness that tries to rise out of the hammering, but it just gets hammered back down by just the sound of the whole record. It's smothering, but that attempt to kind of break out of the bluntness occasionally helps make it so there is that diverseness of sound that I find can be lost in the blunter records. There is a lot of experimentation going on here as well, but again, that like really heavy aggressive tone to the record makes it so it's not so much pinky up art school experimentation as a caveman getting creative and inventing an advanced new club that sole purpose is just to bludgeon, beat, and pulp you with. So if you like experimentation in your death metal, but want the experimentation lab to be run exclusively by very intelligent cavemen, then this might be the record for you.
I'm just a caveman.
And the perfect follow-up to what I said before is we have power metal this month. We've been getting a lot of power metal lately. I used to sneak this in here. I'm just slapping it in here whole hog now. It's Twilight Force at the Heart of Wintervale on Nuclear Blast, coming out January 20th. I've talked about them before. I love them. It's Swedish symphonic power metal boys, Twilight Force, and continuing the trend of making the most ridiculous power metal that's still amazing, and being one of the only power metal bands that have figured out how to make a power metal cover that doesn't suck. Thanks, Karam Bayet, for another great cover that makes me not embarrassed to look at the record. And hey, if you thought Twilight Force was over the top with their last record, they are going for it. This ain't a scenario. This is a full campaign now. It might be the most over-the-top power metal record I've ever heard in my entire life. We have not one, but two different full 10-minute epics on this record. There's all these different voices coming from all over the fucking place, instruments, sound effects. There is so much going on. But at the core of it, it is Alion's amazing power metal voice, kind of really carrying things through, taking you on that journey that is then peppered with all those different instruments, insane guitar solos, incredibly technical playing, just absolutely every single thing is thrown in here, zero restraint. At no point did anyone go, have we pushed things a little too far? They have pushed things way too far. They've crossed so many lines that can never be uncrossed. But thankfully, it's Twilight Force, and as you might have gathered from the video, and as you might have gathered from all the videos, they're in on the joke. They know what's going on. They know it's ridiculous. And as long as you go like, hey, this is ridiculous, but let's be as ridiculous as we possibly can, it's not embarrassing. It's great. The record fills me with such joy. I'm so happy to have another Twilight Force record, and I'm so happy to present you with another Twilight Force record. So if you don't like power metal, I'm so sorry for what I just did to you. But if you do like power metal, oh boy, we eating good. Boy, after all that, we're definitely going to need a palate cleanse for the month, and this one's Freeroad's Do What You Feel on Dying Victims Productions. Again, get out of here. January 27th.
Lose your way. Take the impulse, take control. It's time to do it your way. Take it, keep your essence on your. Do what you feel.
first episode of the year closes out with some Mexican hard rock, and we've got a hilarious cover that Dying Victims didn't credit, but it's kind of just a guy's ass. So I don't know. This has been a lot of a month. I know. The records have really ping-ponged all over the place. So I couldn't have summoned with a dark evil ritual a better palate cleanse record for a month like this. It's just such a fun, positive, upbeat, fast, great record. It's like a Mexican high spirits. It just puts a smile on my face every time I listen to it. Great message. We don't need some doom and gloom to kick off the year. We need someone saying, do what you feel, and do what you feel. That's our vibe around here.
I do what I feel like.
Just do what you feel as long as you ain't hurting anyone. Just be happy. Go out there, live your life, man. We got some Thin Lizzy vibes on the record, and it's just another one of those perfect driving records. I don't know if you're still at your folks' place. I don't know if you're still out seeing family and you got to come back to the city or whatever. Put this on. Have a nice drive. Oh, my God. I'm just going to say it. If you can listen to this record and not be put in a good mood, not be happy, not be positive, not feel good, you're an asshole. You're sick. There's something wrong with you. You're a bad person. And if you just want to cleanse that negativity for you, you should do what you feel, and what you feel should be, I feel I should buy this record because this is a great record. You should buy all these records. Buy all 5 of these records because that's ultimately what the show's about. Just buying records. So, start 2023 off right. Buy some records, support some bands. This has been another episode of Dying Victims Monthly. Metal Monthly. I've been Blayne Smith. I appreciate you coming out. Get down in the comments. What records are you excited about this year? We got a whole year to look ahead to, and there's already some big releases announced. So excited for every single gosh darn month moving forward. There's something big, tasty on the horizon. There's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about in February, but that was just February is a different episode. That was January. How was Christmas? Did you get some cool records? Let me know. Get down in the comments. Get in the mix. Let's chat. Just chatting.